Welcome to Sincerely Bhakti, episode 11. Today I will be talking about freedom within restrictions and the ultimate freedom of the soul. I'm reading from Bhagavad-gītā as it is, commentary by Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, reading from chapter 2, verse 64. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. But a person free from all attachment and aversion, to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom, can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. At this point, Arjuna has surrendered to Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Lord, and Kṛṣṇa has now become Arjuna's teacher and his spiritual master. He's explaining Jnana Yoga, connecting to the divine through the intellect, Karma Yoga, connecting to the divine through our work, and also Bhakti Yoga, connecting to the divine through devotion and through love. And so at this point, Kṛṣṇa is explaining how impossible it is for someone to control the senses without having a higher purpose to sublimate those senses. So, meaning, just to control the senses on their own is impossible. They're just too wily. And he's talking about the progression of how our senses can get out of control. And when our senses are out of control, we lose all freedom and all capacity to even act within our own will. And at this point, Kṛṣṇa is speaking this verse that to be free from all attachment and aversion, to control the senses, comes through regulative principles of freedom. So the actual Sanskrit here is vidheyatma. Vidheya comes from this word vidhi, or instructions, or these prescriptions for how to act in various situations in order to elevate the soul and the consciousness. So do's and do nots, vidhi. And the Atma is also the soul. So it's very interesting that this is a compound word here, this videyatma, and it's translated as one who follows regulated freedom. Because the Atma is the nature of the soul. And this is actually, the nature of the soul is to serve God. So how is it possible that there would be instructions for the soul? Isn't there complete freedom if one is truly liberated in serving God? So these two words are paired together because this videya, this vidhi, there are instructions for the soul actually. And there is something almost written within our soul that we are meant to do to experience the highest freedom. So freedom isn't whimsical, that I can do anything at any time whenever I want. Freedom means that I can truly choose. So Prabhupada writes here that therefore to act or not to act is within his control, or the yogi's control, because he acts only under the direction of Kṛṣṇa. So you'd think this seems like a contradiction, that how is it within his control? How is it within the yogi's control to act or not act if everything is under someone else's direction, in this situation, Kṛṣṇa or God? So I think this is a very fascinating concept, that we can have freedom within restriction and restriction within freedom. And they're very connected to each other. And I have found on a personal level that the more that I take into my heart certain restrictions that I know are meant to better myself, but those restrictions actually lead me to God, then I feel greater freedom. And I was even thinking on a material level, if we have laws, the more I follow those laws, the more freedoms I have. And the more I can choose what I want to do with my life. But the more that I disobey those laws, the more my freedom gets restricted, more and more and more and more. So it's a matter of, to the point where it's like, okay, I have restrictions on my license, or maybe I have to go to a jail or to a prison, or, to solitary confinement, that I can't even interact with another person. So these are restrictions more and more, but the more I follow laws and rules that are actually, that's meant for my betterment, then I can experience higher and greater freedom. And the Bhagavad-gītā emphasizes over and over again that the greatest rules to follow are the ones that are written within our soul, these videyatma, the regulated principles of freedom, and they're actually meant to elevate us and give us the highest joy, which is serving God. So thank you for tuning in today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Hare Krishna.